Hi everybody, this is Bret Thompson, chef and owner of Pez Cantina. Welcome back to Pez Cantina YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be making for you one of my favorite dishes, corn on the cob done Mexican street style. I've been eating corn on the cob since I was a kid. My parents loved making it for me, and then when I found how to make it like Mexican style with chili and lime and just so zesty and yummy, it's like, okay, a whole different level. The one thing that makes it really special is Pez Powder Black, and so I'll show you how that comes in. It's mid-July and we're still in the quarantine right now, so keeping ourselves busy by doing all these fun things and different recipes, and thank you for joining us. So first thing we're gonna do is talk about the corn. I've got this great white corn here, and what I've done is actually I've taken them, I've shucked them, and then I've broke them in half, or you can cut them in half, and I've got these great wooden dowels. So what we do is basically just stick it like this. You get a big sturdy knife and you can kind of just hammer it in, about halfway in, and then you got this cool little handle like this, and they're great little lollipop corn on the cob. Really, really awesome. As opposed to those little remember those little plastic corn things you put in there? I had as a kid actually, so these are much better. So one thing I do with my corn on the cob that I think people always say, oh, you boil it first? Yes, I actually put it in boiling water first. So I'm gonna put these guys right in the water, and it kind of serves two purposes. Number one, I feel like it makes the corn more juicy. For whatever reason, it sort of wakes up all the corn juice inside of each kernel. So when you put it on the grill, it just takes it to another juicy level. Second thing, in the restaurant, we try to get a little bit far to we try to advance the dish a little bit, so it'll help us kind of cook halfway, and then we'll finish it off on the grill. The third thing is that you're getting those sticks kind of wet, so they're not going to char on the grill. The last thing you want is those things that char and fall apart, and then you got nothing to grab onto. So it has a couple different purposes. And you don't boil it for that long. Basically, I'm going to keep it in here for about a minute, and then once they're done, we're going to put it right on the grill. We've got some cilantro for the garnish, and then some fresh lemon juice. You could use lime juice as well. And these are the chili puyas. So you see the chili puyas are not that big. They look like a Guajillo chili, but they're smaller. Not as small as a chili de árbol, but they're a great chili. And some garlic. I like to blend some garlic in there as well. And of course the oil. So while those are almost done, those corns, I'm actually going to show you guys how to make the oil. Put this to the side here. I've got kind of a hot pan here. I'm going to add a pretty good amount of oil. I would say about a good cup. Again, this stuff will last you for months. You could keep it in the refrigerator or out of the refrigerator, up to you. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chilies in their whole. I'm going to take the stem off. This is the stem. Sometimes with dried chilies, I'll take the seeds out. Sometimes I won't. In this particular recipe, I don't find the seeds very, very bitter, which would be the reason you'd want to take them out. Okay, so, but you do want to take the stems off because it's just kind of woody and fibrous, So just pop these guys in here. And the smell that comes off of this is just amazing. It's got this I dropped one little thing in there on accident. It's got this almost like raw tobacco smell, almost like a saffron. It's got this wonderful, smell to the dried chili as it's toasting in there. You can see it's just kind of it's toasting up really slowly. So I'm gonna put this here to the back. These corns are just about done. So I'm gonna carefully take them out of the water and put them right on the grill. You could use a spoon, use some tongs, probably better to use some tongs, but I don't know, I can't feel my fingers anymore, so it doesn't really matter to me. But put these guys like this. Yeah, you actually develop these pretty gnarly calluses being a professional chef, and I just burned my arm. So you don't really feel anything anymore, But yeah, you want to leave these here, and I like to put a pretty good little char on it, on the corn. So kind of let them sit, and then we'll once they're nice and charred, we're gonna flip them over, and then we're gonna start basting it. I don't want to put the chili oil too far in advance because what can happen is the chili oil might fall into the grill and you're gonna get like a flare up and you're gonna get all this like gross like black smoke and like a buildup on the corn. So you wanna kind of let it go like this first. The chilies are nice and kind of like toasted right now. Kind of dark red, dark brown, but not too much. So now I'm gonna add, I've got 4 garlic cloves. I like garlic, I like the flavor in there. You're not gonna eat the whole thing in one sitting, so, you know, just kind of throw the garlic in there and you wanna toast the garlic as well and get that nice and toasty. Man, that smells like, it seriously is one of the best smelling things we make in the kitchen. Whenever we make this, people just like flip out, they love it. Another thing I've got here is cotija cheese. Cotija cheese is a Mexican cheese. It's kind of an aged cheese. You know, there's, when you're talking about Mexican cheeses, most people associate Mexican cheese with like queso fresco, or I think most cheeses you find from Mexico are fresh, queso fresco, panela. This one is a little aged, it's a little stinkier. Kind of has the smell of like Parmesan cheese, kind of salty, and it's a great cheese, I love it. Okay, so you can see the chili puyas, now the garlic's kind of toasted. It's got that great like color on there. You can see the garlic's got a little brown. Okay, so we're gonna add this directly to the blender. Okay, and you don't want to, you got to be really careful when you blend it, obviously, and you don't want to let it continue cooking in the oil because it's gonna turn too dark brown and bitter. So the corn's looking really good. I like a little bit more charred like this. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper in the oil. You know, I like to season as I'm going, and so we'll see how that tastes once we blend it. I'm gonna kind of pulse it. So, man, that is such a good smell. You can see that's so like nice and toasty, and so again, you can really save this oil. I mean, really for months. In the refrigerator, it keeps longer, but you can keep it at a room temp. All right, so I've got some already here on this plate. I like the plate because you kind of roll it in like this. Actually, I might need a little bit more, so I'm gonna put some more like this. And the paste is really essential. You know, if you have too much oil, it's just like kind of too oily, but that paste is so sweet and good. I know you can't taste it through the video, but it's amazing. So you really want to get it nice and coated. Keep in mind, it's probably going to drip into the grill a little bit, so you got to be very careful. You see how immediately it starts smoking up? So I'm going to put it like maybe on a cooler part of the grill, because what happens is that black oil comes up and it really tastes bad. So I'm gonna coat it. You know, you want the oil and the paste to get all in those little kernels inside here, you know? Kind of rub the excess off. I'm gonna get ready for the presentation. And, you know, if you're doing this for like a big crowd, I cooked all the corn first and I put it on part of the grill that was sort of like chilled while I did the chicken and the ribs and everything else, because this doesn't take very long and all that stuff takes a lot longer. So I'm gonna get this out of the way and put it to the side. Okay, so I got this cool little ceramic dish here we're gonna present it in. I'm gonna put a little bit more, one more coat. So for the presentation, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them on here, they're ready to go. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of fresh lime on there, or lemon juice, pardon. I'm gonna flip those over. And this gives it, you know, obviously some really good acidity. You always wanna use fresh citrus, fresh lime, fresh lemon, because the outside, the zest on this, I mean, it smells so great, and you get the oils in there as well. So you never use that like pre-bottled stuff. It's just not the same at all. It's really, really great. So that, and then I'm gonna add a little bit more. A little bit more. You gotta have to put this on there because it'll help it stick. Okay, now the cotija cheese we're gonna just put on one side. Kind of do a quarter flip. Do it again. Yeah, try to get the cotija cheese all the way around. All right. And of course, the Pez Powder Black. And the reason I chose the Pez Powder Black on this, the Chipotle line, because you got the dried chili, you got the smoke on the grill. It just kind of makes a lot of sense. You could use the Pez Powder Original. You could use the Pez Powder Green, the jalapeno line, but I think this one actually works the best on this. It's really personal preference, but I like the black on there. Now, remember, we don't have really any seasoning on here yet. The cheese has a little bit of salt. The oil has a little bit of salt. The Pez Powder does have a good amount of salt on it, so that's where it's kind of the seasoning's coming in. So you want to kind of just get all the sides like this. Oh man, that looks just so tasty. All right, not too much because it's gonna be too salty. Like this. Kind of present them like that. If you want to put, you know, a little bit more cheese, maybe a squeeze more lemon on there. Put that over there so somebody can do that. If you want to make it look nice and pretty and fancy, maybe throw a little bouquet of some cilantro in there like that. So really, you guys saw that. It's so easy to execute. I mean, look at these things. They're so good. I'm gonna try one. All right. Sometimes it's hard with the face mask, you know, get the little bits all over it and stuff. That was good. So juicy. Sorry, I could keep going on that. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Pez Cantina, and can't wait to see you next time. Enjoy, you guys.
Yo ya no